Welcome to a short video about gut health, why it's so important and what we can do to make your gut as healthy as possible. My name is Gail Pearson. I'm a specialist medical doctor from New Zealand. I've practiced in anesthesia for over 30 years. Now, when I was at medical school, we were taught that the gut was basically a tube. You ingested food, you chewed it, it passed through the esophagus down to the stomach where it was churned up, onto the small intestine where the nutrients were absorbed, then into the large intestine where all the rubbish was concentrated, into the rectum where all the water was reabsorbed, and then it passed out. But latterly, we've started to understand that the gut contains trillions of microbes, bacteria, viruses, and fungi. It's the main location of the human microbiome and has got really important functions, including maintaining the integrity of gut cells, resistance to pathogens, metabolizing dietary and pharmaceutical compounds, controlling our immune function, and even behavior through the gut-brain axis. So a good microbiome is your friend. Now, I want you to have a look at this list. Have a look down at it. If you can tick 1 or 2 or 3 or any of these, the likelihood is that you have got poor gut function and a poor microbiome. It affects every single system of the body. Let's have a look at some specific systems. Now, if we look at immune health, do you know that 70 to 80% of your immune system is located in your gut? It produces antibodies. It also is very helpful in producing things like neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. So it's really important for your immune system. It's also important for your metabolic system. A lot of vitamins and minerals are produced in the gut. And then we have mental health. 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut and goes to your brain. Now, that's a really important neurotransmitter. Dopamine also is produced in the gut and goes to the brain. It's so important that gut-brain axis has been given a name, the gut-brain axis. And so what we see is that anything that's produced in the gut actually transfers or travels to the brain to have its influence on total body function. And it comes down to what bugs we have in our gut. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit because we've talked about the gut-brain axis, but I want to have a look at what's actually going on at the cellular level in the small intestine, because the small intestine is where all the work really takes place, all the absorption of nutrients, all the manufacture of all of the various compounds. So we have very long, thin cells. They have finger-like projections at the top of these cells, which goes into the lumen or the opening of the bowel. They produce mucus, and they're also responsible for holding bacteria, producing lots of compounds. They're held together by those little yellow dots, which are called tight junctions. And they have a very important role in nutrient absorption. Normally, a lot of our nutrients are taken place by the transcellular route. That means through the cell. So they are of a small enough size to pass through the cell to be absorbed into the blood system. Some of them go between the cells. That's the paracellular route, but they have to be quite small if you've got tight junctions. And we're going to be talking about tight junctions as we go further. What happens to those tight junctions when we have a leaky gut? On the left, you can see the normal tight junctions. The cells are really tight together. They're closely packed. So you're not going to get things that aren't meant to be absorbed between the cells. When you have a leaky and inflamed gut, what happens is that that gap separates so that you're getting toxins going between the cells and getting absorbed into the blood, making the gut cells leaky, making the gut cells more inflamed. And it lets non-essential substances into the circulation where they're not meant to be. And we get into a vicious cycle. We get malabsorption of nutrients, we get an immune response to that, then we start to get gut issues, multiple food intolerances, we get autoimmune diseases, which is basically the body attacking itself, and then we get more inflammation of the gut lining. What does that mean? We get less absorption, we get an immune response, so we get into this vicious cycle that we cannot stop. But there are ways that we can address that. And I'm going to have a look at how we can address it. First of all, we have to decrease the inflammation. We have to decrease that inflammatory process that's taking place in our gut cells. We have to stop the absorption of toxins, especially via that paracellular route. We have to increase healthy bacteria, either by supplementing with more or by reducing the use of antibiotics when they're not needed. And fourthly, we've got to improve peristalsis. Now, that's just the way that the bowel contracts in order to get rid of the waste products. So it's important that we shift all of the products through the bowel so that they are absorbed at the right time in the right place. So let's have a look at a few things that we can do. Healthy food. I mean, that is so important. Fresh, healthy food, which doesn't have pesticides and herbicides in it, which damage the gut microbiome. Lots of fiber. What fiber does is it acts as a scaffold for the healthy bacteria so that they can multiply and that they can do their job as they need to do. Fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, kombucha, what they do is they actually tighten the tight junctions as well as provide bacteria. So fermented foods are also very, very good. Try not to have any additives, anything with a capital letter with a lot of numbers behind it. Not many processed foods, low sugar. Why low sugar? Because that encourages the multiplication of unhealthy bacteria or bad bacteria that we don't actually want in our gut. Alcohol increases inflammation in our gut, and it also inhibits bacterial growth. In the surgical field, we actually use that as a skin preparation to stop any bacteria from coming into the surgical wounds. So alcohol also kills bacteria. Chew slowly. Now, why do I say that? Because the whole digestion process starts in the mouth. We have an enzyme called amylase, salivary amylase, which starts to break down. So to get the food ready to be absorbed in the proper form in the small gut. Chewing slowly, that starts the digestive process off well. A good water intake, that increases the lubrication through the bowel, and it also makes sure that the transit time is increased. Regular exercise gets blood supply to the bowel, takes away all the products that needs to be taken away from the bowel and puts them in the systems that they're meant to be in. Good sleep for rejuvenation and to get them to have the metabolic processes that they are programmed to do, and lowering stress levels. Especially lowering emotional stress levels. You've all heard the saying, it was a kick in the guts, or, I felt it in my guts. We hold a lot of emotion in our gut. And so if you are having emotional issues and you've tried all these other things above, maybe it's time that you start to look at where your emotional behaviors are coming from. And that's just another extra thing that you can do. We also have to naturally support a reduction in inflammation and encourage the multiplication of healthy bacteria. So how are we going to do that? Well, if you've done all of those things in that previous slide with diet, etc., it's time to go to the next level. And I'm going to be talking about 3 natural products. The first one is Protandim NRF2, which increases the body's own anti-inflammatory enzymes and helps with cellular healing. It's made up of 5 herbs: turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, ashwagandha, and bacopa, put together in a combination that stimulates a genetic pathway called the NRF2 pathway. It's a master genetic regulator which works on over 250 genes, including upregulating your cells to make its own anti-inflammatories. Yeah, that's right. Your cells make your own anti-inflammatories and antioxidant enzymes. It augments detoxification pathways. It addresses inflammation. It protects against cellular stress. It tightens those tight junctions. It stops the leakiness, and it also decreases oxidative stress in everybody. And in my opinion, it's the best, easiest, and most natural way to counteract the medical issues we have these days. And a lot of those are related to oxidative stress. Next, I want to talk about LifeVantage ProBio. Now, when we want to replace or support a healthy microbiome, what we've got to do is we've got to help it. So what you look for in a probiotic is that A, it gets to where it's meant to be. B, it's the right type of bacteria. C, it's in the right concentration. Now, more doesn't always mean better because it has to actually get to where it's needed within the bowel. and D, if it has added immune support or are feeding in it. Now, this probio has a special capsule that gets through the acidic stomach, and most probiotics are broken down within the stomach before they even get to the gut. And that deposits the bacteria where they're actually needed. It deposits lactobacilli in the small intestine. It deposits bifidobacteria in the large intestine. It also helps seal tight junctions and also has beta-glucan in it, which helps support your immune system. Plus, the really good thing is it doesn't have to be kept in the fridge. So the probio, this one is incredible. And then we go on to the LifeVantage liquid collagen. Now, collagen is an important structural protein within the body, and it's also in the gut. It helps heal and improve leaky gut, and it also helps with nutrient absorption. It has two major functions in repairing the gut lining. It ensures a strong gut wall so that we get regular gut movement. And when you have a collagen that activates the organelles in the gut, which are fibroblasts produce collagen, as well as specific peptides, you're onto a winner. And when this collagen was first introduced last year, initially we noticed a lot of skin changes, and people were saying how marvelous it was for the skin. And it is because we have a lot of collagen in our skin. And then about 2 to 3 months down the line, they kept on saying, what's going on here? My gut has improved. I no longer have food intolerances. I no longer have the symptoms of leaky gut that I had before. Why? Because the liquid collagen is working in your gut. So here we have a triple combination for gut health, and all of them work together. They work what we call synergistically to decrease inflammation, tighten those tight junctions, and replace those other bacteria with healthy bacteria. So we have Protandim NRF2, we have the LifeVantage Probio, and the LifeVantage Liquid Collagen. Triple therapy. And so what do you get? Well, you'll find that you'll have more energy, you'll have mental clarity, you'll have decreased gas and bloating, you'll have a normal gut transit time, regular bowel movements, and a healthy response to food and stress. And so what can we do? Well, who doesn't want to have a healthy body and a healthy gut? Once you've made those adjustments to your diet, reducing inflammation, restoring that microbiome, releasing coexisting stresses, any gut condition and its associated systemic issues will heal over time. And it's up to you to start to address it if you have problems. There are ways, these are different ways, and it's a totally different way of looking at gut health. Thank you for your time. If you do want more information, please just take a screenshot of this, activatedlife.net/NRF2, activatedlife.net/probio, or activatedlife.net/collagen.